fun.
Hey, is he ready for us to just do the intro or no?
Really great question. I don't know. Can you talk to Mason?
Yeah.
Say Dr. Fox is wondering if they want us to do an intro.
Mr. Prince, Dr. Fox is wondering if you want us to do the intro. Do you want to wait till after senior night to do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just let us know what you want.
Then I should do that.
Are you guys going to broadcast the senior night part? Have you guys started yet?
So do I not need to get senior night then? Do I not need to get senior night then? Oh, yeah. Okay. I got it.
Hey, let me know what he says because I can't hear him.
Pretty much, I'm right after they do the senior night, I'm gonna get up and then get y'all.
Okay, but you're going to film the senior night.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Cool.
Am I supposed to be able to hear you? Just
Senior night done, and then we do a quick intro, and we'll get ready.
because they'll do warm-ups and stuff like that.
Right, exactly. So we'll be good. Brandon's just going to stand up, turn around, and get you guys right here, and then it'll be like 10 seconds long. Whenever we're done with this, we'll kind of come out here. Yeah, that's fine. You'll be able to hear each other. Oh, no, it's fine. Landon's a pro. He'll make it work. Right?
Hopefully.
Yes, yes.
What is that?
When you touch is this. That means
Don't act like you don't hate it. Yeah, do you want? I think he wants.
Mr. Prince, is my angle good?
Did you go to Stillwater on Sunday? Place must be rocking.
They do a lot of cool theatrical stuff.
Sweet.
And now that I hear like how we should do this thing before a basketball game.
And when you were going through, they sold out
Well,
basketball every week.
I was with Frank Herald, and I was like, why didn't you want to do this thing? Like
Trojan fans, at this time we want
light
to
shows and
recognize our amazing senior girls. First up, Kayla Parnell. Kayla's jumping on Mom Sherry, her dad Jake, her stepdad Mike, and her stepmom Casey. Kayla's been wrestling for 40 years. Most memorable wrestling moment, hitting the girl in 13 seconds flat after she was talking smack of the middle school girls. Plans after high school, she plans to attend OSU or Murray, majoring in biology for a future career in forensics. Congratulations, Kayla. Our next senior girl, Addie Thompson. Joining our parents, Kim Thompson, and her dad, Ryan Thompson. Addie's been wrestling for 6 years. Most memorable wrestling moment, qualifying for state twice. Her plans after high school, plans to wrestle in college, go to middle school, be an and Brimley. Been wrestling for 5 years. Most memorable wrestling moment, getting first at Glenpole and watching Coach Wilkie tear up. Plans after high school. Plans to attend TCC, get her associates, and major in nursing. Once again, congratulations, Maddie. One more time, thanks. Give it up for our senior girls.
Yes, it is. Mine are off.
And now, Trojan fans, introducing our senior boys. First up, our manager, Kaylin Messick. Accompanied by parents Beth and Kelly Messick. Been a manager for 4 years. Most memorable wrestling moment, meeting Aniston, Kennedy, Edie, and Dylan were some of her best friends. Plans after high school, OSU, Institute of Technology, majoring in cardiovascular tech with a minor in applied science. One more time, let's give it up for Kayla Messick. Our first senior wrestler, Garrison Bolo. Accompanied by parents, Jason, Tiffany Bolo. First year wrestling, weight class 144, most memorable wrestling moment. Talking to O'Reilly when he had a concussion. Landed a major in mechanical engineering with a minor in aerospace engineering. One more time, fans, give it up for our senior Garrison Bolo. Our next senior boy, Isaac Austin. Accompanied by parents, Jennifer Austin and Josh Austin. Isaac's been wrestling for 2 years, 165 weight class. Most memorable wrestling moment, morning lifts with Doug. Plans after high school, college at OU, majoring in finance. One more time. Most memorable wrestling moment, getting a first round bye at the UConn tournament. Plans after high school, wrestling at Fringe University, studying business and construction management. One more time, fans, give it up for Isaac Newton. Fans, one more time, one big round of applause for our
Just give us a
senior
welcome
boys.
in. You're watching live on Trojan TV, and then we'll come back.
Thank you, gentlemen.
And Frank Herald Field House, brought to you by Trojan TV. And welcome to the Frank Herald Field House tonight for senior night as Jenks prepares to wrestle the Claremore Zebras. Really excited to be here. This is the second wrestling broadcast I think that we brought to Trojan TV fans.
Yes.
I'm Eric Fox, an assistant principal here at the high school, former assistant coach. Really glad to be joined by the man himself, the Hall of Famer, the longtime coach of the Jenks Trojans, Ray Weiss. Thanks for being here, Ray.
Very excited to be here. I am currently working at the middle school, assistant principal, just like Eric. I'm really excited to be back in the gym and watch some good wrestling tonight.
So, Ray, for those people that don't know, you wrestled at OSU and then, had a long-time career here, coached at Snyder and Okmulgee before you got here. Remind us how many years you were a coach here, head coach for the Trojans.
I was head coach for 25 years. I started in 2000 and or for 20 years. I started in 2000 and retired in 2020.
All right, what a year to retire, 2020.
What a year, right before COVID.
But you had a great season that year. I mean, gosh, all kinds of guys that made it to the state tournament, and including one of your sons, and so that was an incredible opportunity. But talk to us a little bit about how the coaching staff prepares for and kind of feels about a senior night. What's a senior night experience like from a coach's perspective?
Really, it's a lot of emotions. You work with these kids sometimes from 7th grade to 12th grade, so not only do you know them as an athlete, you know them as a person. You watch them grow from a boy to a man, and hopefully you had a big part of that. It is nice when you get to know the families. You spend so much time with the students, with the student athletes. You travel. You're doing fundraising in the summer. You're spending just a tremendous amount of time. And it's really nice to see them finish their career in their gym.
All right, we'll take a pause for the national anthem. All right, again, welcome back to action here tonight at the Frank Herald Field House as the Jenks Trojans take on Claremore Zebras, both the girls' team and the boys' team. The girls are going to take the mat first. We do have a few seniors, and we'll catch this intro as the girls run out here. Then we'll talk about the coaching staff when we come back. Coach Weiss, so you can kind of talk us through Lady Trojans wrestling coaching staff and their Hall of Fame coach as well. We'll wait for this run out here. While we're waiting for the run out, it's kind of interesting. You didn't used to have all the colors and the lights and stuff like that. You just hit the mat, maybe with an AC/DC song or something, right?
Yeah, it's some things are the pop and circumstance has definitely taken a level up. Our last duel, the last duel that I coached here, we did wrestle Sand Springs, and we were able to beat Sand Springs, and we did have quite a bit of pop and circumstance. Like you alluded to, I was very fortunate. We had a really good team. We ended up with 10 state qualifiers that year, and we were fortunate enough to beat Sand Springs, who is just a very good program traditionally, and it's really nice this year to watch the Jenks Trojans beat the Sandites this year.
Yeah.
And now fans, let's bring out our Lady Trojans.
Trojans led out by senior Addie Thompson. State qualifier last year. You could definitely say one of the most prolific wrestlers in Lady Trojan wrestling history since it's our second year, but she's been around the sport, and we'll have a chance to talk about her some more.
Yeah, you can tell she has a lot more experience than just like the last 2 years. She's been very involved in the sport and really is, I think, a leader for that team as far as being able to do the technique and understanding how everything works and what it means to be a wrestler.
So we'll listen to the lineups here as they come out to the center of the mat and shake hands with their opponent. The Trojans have a few forfeits from holes in their lineup.
115, Claremore, Scarlett Turks. 120, Claremore, Addie Wilson. 125, Claremore, Gabby Garcia.
Looks like we'll just go through the entire lineup for Claremore first, and then they'll come back to the Jenks group. Most of the time they kind of shake the hand of their opponent, but doing things a little differently tonight.
This looks like something that would have come up during the COVID year when you weren't supposed to
Yeah.
be in contact. You weren't supposed to be touching and make it limited as much as possible.
So Addie Thompson will start things out for the Trojans.
115, Caitlin Cassie. 120, Lily Roden. 125, Cody Adel. 135, Maddie Wilkie. At 140, Jillian Saxon.
What's nice about this is just being able to get a little bit of recognition, get ready to get started, be introduced to the crowd. Wrestling is a hard sport, and you don't get a lot of notoriety, so it is nice when you can step out in front of the home crowd in your home gym and have your name over the loudspeakers.
Yeah, definitely. And, this is the second year that Trojan TV has brought a broadcast. But I don't think we did the girls' team last year.
Well, we got
There were
started.
a few.
We got started, but it was, a little inexperience on my part. We were trying to figure out what we were doing and getting started. We were wrestling on 2 mats, so we did
That's
have
right.
some of the junior high kids going on the other mats. So this is really special. Not often do you put out 1 mat and just really showcase each group participating. Normally, just because of time constraints, you have 2 mats out, and so there's dual action going on. So you'll see the junior high boys on one side, the junior high girls on the other side, or sometimes you have the junior high or the JV going with the other JV, and so this is going to be nice to have one match going on at a time.
Yeah, so for those people not familiar with wrestling, it's a team sport, but it's also an individual sport, right? So you have the individual score, and then based on the individual's points scored, there's a criteria for team score. So you'll see tonight both a team score and as an individual score as we go along. Again, we're going to start with senior Addie Thompson. Ray, I know you got some information and insight on Addie, and hopefully people caught her recognition earlier on senior night. But Addie was somebody that I had a great chance to have a conversation with for a student athlete spotlight earlier in the year, and it was just great to hear how she got involved in the sport. But Ray, what are some other insights that you have that she shared on her bio?
Well, her obviously she's been doing it. Listed says she's 6 years into the sport, which is a really good amount of time for a young lady being involved in wrestling. I believe that's about when the state of Oklahoma first had their state tournament. So it hasn't been long in coming, so she was getting right there when everybody else was. And so at 6 years, you can tell she's put a lot of time and effort in, has a lot of a good skill set. She is Jenks' first ever state qualifier for the girls team, and she is a two-time state qualifier. So we're looking for her senior year to reach that plateau again and hopefully go a little bit further.
Yep. She has placed at some individual tournaments, both last year and this year, but then has got involved because she had brothers that were involved in the sport. And like you said, she started out when girls had a separate division from boys. There have been girls that have participated in wrestling in Oklahoma for a long time, but they always had to participate by weight class against guys that were at their weight class. But Addie, like you said, came on board about the time that the state of Oklahoma split up into a male and female division. She's down on a low single there.
That was a nice setup and a shot. She switched it off to a cradle, and now she's ended up with a half Nelson. Got her really close to being flat. That was a really nice transition from shot to a pinning combination.
Just shows that experience, because it's what you like to see. You call it head hunting, you go straight for that half, you go straight for that cradle or the half combination, and gets the half Nelson in there and squeezing it really tight. She's got a lot of time to work with.
Yeah, just a little bit more to be able to get it flat. One of the things that the females bring to the competition is just the flexibility, the shoulder flexibility, the body flexibility, and so it makes it more difficult to pin your opponent.
So you see him on your back. What's the criteria for getting a fall here?
So both shoulders, just like that, both shoulders have to touch the mat at the same time, and it can be anywhere from your shoulder blades to the top of their shoulders. Be able to get it, hold it, and ref sees it. It has a one count basically, and on the two count, it slaps the mat, and that ends the match.
Yeah, so she gets a fall in a minute and 7 seconds basically, and gets the Trojans on the board, as the first wrestler did give up 2 forfeits earlier. So you see the team score is Claremore has 12 points, 6 points for both of their forfeits, and then Addie picks up a fall for the Trojans. So who do we have up here next? We have at 115 pounds, Carolyn Casey versus Scarlett Terhest from Claremore. Quick takedown, and Casey's going to be on the bottom.
I believe this is Kaylin's first year wrestling. When she was at the middle school, I had talked to her and tried to get her into wrestling. She was playing softball at the time. So as she transitions and kind of learns the rules and trying to get to, obviously where she can compete. She's showing her fight here and her flexibility.
And you really see that flexibility. That's something you don't always see. And you have a chance for a defensive pin there.
Yeah. That was close.
Really close to a defensive pin. Kaylin's fighting hard.
I would like to see working on the hands, get that blocked off. But again, her flexibility gets her out of the cradle, and now we're back into a more standard position where she's not in trouble of giving up some points at the moment. That was a really tough half Nelson that the girl went and rode, and when she switched from the cradle to the half, was able to get her held down and get a fall for Claremore Zebras.
Kaylin's showing a lot of fight, a lot of flexibility, like you said, to fight off her back. That's not something that you see very often. So we'll move to 120 pounds with the Trojans' Lily Roden coming to the mat against Addie Wilson from Claremore.
Well, especially when we're so new in the sport, we have a lot of girls with that don't have a tremendous amount of experience. And Claremore is a very good girls wrestling program. They've been doing it for a while, and they were one of the first schools that really built, jumped in, and they went out and hired a coach, and they committed to it early on, like when Oklahoma first started girls wrestling. So they're pretty established. They've been doing it for quite a while. So, a lot of the girls that are making the varsity lineup are going to have experience. They're going to have the understanding of what's going on, and their learning their learning curve isn't as high because their skill set is pretty good.
Yeah, and what you're talking about here is really mat time. How important it is to get experience on the mat as the Trojans get a takedown there. Nice little scramble position to continue to fight for position. She wants to break her back down now, get her kind of spread out off her base, flatten her out. Going for a 3/4 stack here.
Might have learned that from Mr. Ingles. His son Lance was really good at the 3/4 stack. I'm dating myself a little bit. That was a little while ago, but he was pretty well known for that.
Yeah, so speaking of the coaching staff, you see Ronnie Ingles, assistant coach over here to the left. Head coach Larry Wilkie. Larry's had such a prolific career, one of the head coaches for the boys team for a number of years here. As Claremore gets an escape, they're back in the neutral position, but Larry, longtime coach, head coach of the boys team, because that's the only team that there was back then, and he is actually in the Hall of Fame, the National Wrestling Hall of Fame, part of the Oklahoma delegation, as you are. So pretty incredible. I think Jenks has only had, 6 head wrestling coaches in the history of the sport, and 2 of them are in the Hall of Fame. Actually 3, because Steve Randall is, right? So,
correct.
So half of our former coaches, half of our coaching staff.
Mike Clevenger.
Oh, Mike Clevenger, yeah. So the first coach was Harvey Hallam. He was a Vietnam War vet, came to Jenks and started teaching science and started the program as Trojans get an escape there. Coach Hallam actually coached the very first Jenks champion, state champion, Mike Babb. And following Coach Hallam, Coach Wilkie came in, and then Steve Randall was here for a year after Coach Wilkie, and Mike Clevenger, also a Hall of Famer, was longtime coach here. I had a chance to coach with him for a few years before you came on board. And now Dustin Hughes, one of your former athletes, is the head coach for the boys program. But there he started the girls program. One of the seniors, Maddie Wilkie, happens to be his granddaughter. She got really interested and involved in junior high, and Larry said, hey, we need to get this thing rocking at the high school. So he's got Sarah Miller as an assistant coach.
Yep. Yeah, so Ronnie Ingles, he started his coaching career in Jenks in the 90s with Coach Clevenger. I think right before Clevenger was Steve Randall, and then I think right before him was a guy named Tom Burns, who I never actually
Tom Burns,
met.
yeah.
And when I talked to Mr. Burns, who was the athletic director here, he called him Big Tommy Burns.
Big Tommy and Little Tommy
Yeah,
Burns.
so I don't know. I never met the man, but he was here for a while. But Ronnie's been involved with wrestling for 30 years. He has 3 children, 2 boys and a girl, grew up in Jenks school system. And he is a big fan of Jenks wrestling. He helps with the Larry Wilkie Invitational Wrestling Tournament, which is named after the head coach here for the girls program. He runs all the hospitality. His wife, Suzanne, is in the hospitality, and basically his entire family is in there helping out and making the Jenks Wrestling Tournament, which is the Larry Wilkie Tournament, one of the premier tournaments in the state of Oklahoma.
Definitely. As we go into the third period, the bounce score here is 7-2. Lily does a nice job of holding on to that leg without giving up a reversal or escape there, so she's going to go into the third period with her choice. Coaches are telling her to take the bottom position and referee position there, and so she's got 2 minutes to either extend her lead or hang on to her lead here.
She had a really quick escape in the last neutral or down position. She hit a Granby just like that. This one, she didn't quite clear that inside leg. Maybe the other girl knew it was coming. And now she gets broken down, and we need to get back on our base and look to get back to our neutral position. She's had a lot of success this match. She was winning the score 7-2. It is in the third period with about a minute and a half left.
So what she wants to do here is get up to her base and look away from that half, get that head up off the mat so that they can't torque her over, and use that half Nelson to force her over. Almost close to the way the girls can be. It's almost looks like it's close to a full Nelson, but the referee has his eye on that. So Lily needs to get that head up so she doesn't get turned.
They're putting a lot of pressure on that shoulder.
Really cranking on that shoulder.
And so she's going to have to figure out how to get her hand in front of her. She's reaching for the wrist to pull it back, trying to get her head up and her shoulder down. But she's really caught in this position, so she's going to have to fight it off. She's doing a good job of building into it, getting that leg in there to where she won't allow her body to get over the top.
And the referee watching for that shoulder to see if it gets torqued too hard and call it potentially dangerous, which is what he does right there. So Lily catches a break with 35 seconds left in the period. She's going to get a fresh start. You can see she's kind of reaching at her shoulder, saying it hurts a little bit. So
yeah, I don't know if that was a break, because she was putting a lot of effort into getting not from getting turned. And that's the ref's job. That's his main job. Obviously, he's keeping score. Obviously, he's making sure they're doing the proper wrestling techniques, but his job is to keep them safe. That is his #1 job each and every moment. That's why that move was stopped, because it was really tight against her shoulder.
So Lily trying to come to her feet, get her head up off the mat. With 20 seconds left in the match.
Yeah, if she can just maintain position, she doesn't have to really work to score right now. We always want them keeping fighting and keeping trying to score, but she has a 5-point lead, and with about 5 seconds left, she has to just kind of tough it out and be tough enough to not give up the points, which she did.
Does an outstanding job of not getting turned there in the third period, as the Claremore wrestler really putting a lot of pressure with that half Nelson, and Lily comes up with the victory for the Trojans by a score of 7-2.
That was a nice win, and if you've ever wrestled, you know how hard it is to have somebody have a deep half and push your elbow all the way up over against your far ear and just not give it up. Just being able to fight and stay in the battle and continue to, show your mettle and show how much you want to win the match.
Yeah. So next up for the Trojans at 125 pounds, we have Toby Ayadelli wrestling Gabby Garcia for the Zebras. So Sarah Miller's a great coaching story for the Trojans, joining the staff this year, but been around wrestling for a long, long time. You talked about the Larry Wilkie Invitational, and she has been a long-time helper for that as Ayadelli gets the takedown. But tell us a little bit about Coach Miller.
So this is her first year working with the girls wrestling program, but she's a Jenks kid. She grew up, she was a Jenks lifer. She was very much involved in wrestling, watching it, and then she was a mat maid in high school. So she's been around the sport for a long time and around the sport here at Jenks. She did coach in Texas for 8 years. She was a soccer coach, but when she returned to Jenks, she was at Jenks Eastern Immediate. She's been there for 14 years.
Wow.
So that's a long commitment to Jenks Public Schools, not only being a lifer, but also being back here and working here for 14 years.
And ever since she came back, she's been a volunteer at the Jenks Wrestling Tournament and worked the head table and has been around it, like you said. And Craig Bowman, who helps run the head table area for the tournament as well, they're friends. And so just being around Coach Wilkie at the tournament and Craig Bowman and others, Coach Wilkie said, hey, what do you think about coming out and helping us out? So good to have Sarah join the staff this year.
Yeah, she's had a lot of stuff as far as getting, I talked to Coach Wilkie today, and he was talking about how she has really helped the students focus on their academics, making sure they are, following all the rules, being eligible, making their grades, and that's a great thing about being part of something when you're going through school, and Jenks does a very good job with that. As far as when a student joins a club, joins a program, there's another adult that is looking out for your child. They're looking out to help them out, make good quality decisions, make good lifelong decisions, working on study skills, working on making sure you're organized, getting your grades in. It's when you join a program, it's not just about the wins and losses. It's about the character development. It's about bettering your whole self.
Teamwork, self-discipline, committing to something bigger than yourself. And Adeli's going to start this second period on her feet. She chooses the neutral position after she was doing a real nice job there at the end of the first period working on that cradle. So Adeli, with that sweeping single, using the head tie with her right hand, sweeping the single to the left. Didn't quite get it up.
Yeah, that was a nice job, though, because it's safe. She's not overextending herself. She's staying in good position. And as she's working for it, if she gets it, she gets it. But if not, she was able to, just right there, back out and not put herself in any danger. And again, an outside shot, creating the angle, and get a nice, easy takedown. There was no danger in either one of the attacks she just did this period.
Yeah, you talk about what you noticed there was the head position and the way that she was controlling the tie-up. And like you said, she wasn't in jeopardy. She's kind of working for that outside cradle again, trying to lock those hands up, trying to stay heavy on the wrestler, keep her down on the mat. But two nice setups of takedowns. Toby's doing a good job there. Again, going across the body there for that cradle.
I like her making sure she's going for the arm. So many kids just want to lock up their hands around the head and the arm, and sometimes it's kind of loose. If you're not really familiar with it, it makes it tough. But right there, while she's grabbing the tricep, if she could push that elbow forward a little bit more and get it closer to her head, she'd be able to have a little bit more leverage to be able to go ahead and get that leg and be able to go score. But she's doing a good job of staying on top, staying in control of the position, and looks like she could get out of this period if she can get a mat return where they go out of bounds. Oh, good attempt. That was a good mat return right there. Going into the third period, it's 6-0. So by her bringing her down, she didn't get hit for stalling, and the Claremore wrestler did not escape.
So when the wrestlers are on their feet like that, you have the limited amount of time to make sure you return them to the mat. And Adeli, like you said, was able to do that. If you don't do that, you get hit with a stalling call. 2 stalling calls result in a penalty point, but Adeli comes to her feet. She stays on her feet.
Yeah, this is really big because the other team chose the top position. When they choose the top position, then they're expecting to be able to do something and get you on your back and score some points. So by her getting to her feet, it gave her a good opportunity. They did go out of bounds without a change, without a score. So we are back down. And so, again, we're going to have to explode, get up to our feet, and hopefully be able to get back neutral because she looked really, really dominant in the neutral position, being able to get a takedown.
You saw Coach Wilkie talking about when she comes up to get control of those hands, to reach for those hands, push the hands to the outside position. She's going to try to turn here. She's got to free her leg right now. No change in the position. Looking a little tired. As she comes to her feet, she can kind of kick out of it.
Well, they're going to have the other student work up. Again, potentially dangerous. Our knee was kind of at an angle that they wanted to make sure that there was no injury. So they stopped the match, and she has to begin again in the bottom position. And that position, I like to see the student just kick away, just
Yeah.
try to get away. When you turn back in, it does put your knee at a problem, and it allows the student to slow things down.
And as you said, if the other wrestler isn't trying to improve their position, if they're just hanging on that ankle like that, if she comes to her feet and the other Claremore wrestler just hangs onto her ankle, she's going to get hit for stalling.
And she just did. We saw the ref kind of doing his quiet count to make sure that she has to get up and get moving. So it looks like the ref's going to stop it again for the potential. Oh, that was a stalemate call. So a stalemate is when the two wrestlers are competing and they are not getting anywhere. Nobody's getting an advantage. They're stuck. No options or no action is going to continue. So they call a stalemate so we get a restart.
So 45 seconds left in the third period. Ayodele has a 6-point lead. And there she goes. She saw she got her hand control, turned back into the wrestler. Now she needs to stay in a good stance.
And
You'd like to score again just to get another team point. Go ahead, Coach.
And that's what we're looking at. It's like we have 30 seconds left. We have the match pretty much in hand. But if we get another takedown, it helps the team out. The team will go from getting a 3-point decision to a 4-point decision, which is what we call a major decision. And so when you win bigger, it helps the team. So while she's winning, we would like to see that killer instinct to be able to go for it. However, you also have to be careful because you don't want to get thrown on your back. 7 points is a takedown and back points now. So we got to make sure. So that was a good, solid win.
Toby does a nice job hanging on there, battling in all positions, but really set up by 2 nice takedowns in the first and second period. So nice job there.
Yeah, that's a good shutout. Scored each period. Proved she could ride well. Proved she could get takedowns, and proved she could get away. That's a good, solid win.
And really, when you're talking to your wrestlers, you know that if you can take people down and you can escape from people, you got a great chance of winning a match. You know, yes, it's nice to have big throws or be a big pinner, but most of the time, if you can get away from somebody and you can take that person down, you really increase your chances of winning.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's when you're working on, your schedule for your philosophy for what you're trying to get done, and each athlete has a different aspect or a different strategy based on what their skill set is. Sometimes we have kids that are, really long and skinny. Some kids we have really good mat wrestlers. Other people are really good on their feet. And you really focus on, working to your strengths.
Next up at 135 pounds, we have Maddie Wilkie for the Trojans, senior, wrestling Elizabeth Patina. Coach, I think you have some information on senior Maddie Wilkie, that she's, again, somebody who got involved in junior high and so was able to come on up and be part of this varsity program.
Absolutely. So I've been here long enough, as you have, that we were around when Maddie was born.
Are you saying we're old, Coach?
We're getting long in the tooth a little bit.
At least you have gray hair. I have less.
Well,
so
I don't know. Getting up in the morning sometimes a little bit more difficult than it used to be. So Maddie's been wrestling for 5 years, but she's been around the sport for ever and ever, basically her whole life. For a number of years, her dad was one of my assistant coaches. Larry was a longtime coach. Her granddad was a longtime coach here at Jenks. And he has done so much for the sport here at Jenks, so much for the continuity. He's basically never gone away from the sport. He has run the tournament for years and years. That the tournament here at Jenks, that is a long-standing tournament, has been named after him for probably 15 years now. We started over at what used to be the Frank, now it's the Trojan Athletic Center, having the tournament over there, and now we have this wonderful gym, which is an absolute fantastic wrestling gym. For the way it's set up, hosting a tournament is probably the best setup in the state, and hosting regionals is really good.
Maddie doing a great job trying to come to her feet, but Claremore wrestler showing a lot of aggression, working that chicken wing. Maddie fighting to stay off of her back.
Yeah, she got into a little bind, ended up in a double chicken wing, which is incredibly difficult to get away from. So by her just being able to still be in the match and still be able to compete,
Not getting pinned.
not getting pinned,
That's tough.
and that's one of the things about wrestling. No matter what the score is, until it's a match termination or a fall, you still have a chance.
Yeah.
So if it was boxing, you'd say they have the puncher chance. But in this, you have the opportunity to throw somebody on their back and pin them. I remember we went up to Kansas City one time and wrestled. And while we were up there, we had a kid named Mike Lowry, and he was getting beat 14-1. And we ended up, the guy chose down, and we went optional start and went into a snake and slung him all the way around the mat and pinned him, losing 14-0. And one of the sayings is, you can pin people you can't beat.
Yep. That's why it's great sport. You know, there's a lot of individual determination. And again, you're wrestling as a team, you're working out as a team, but you know, you also step your foot on that mat and you're the one responsible for your performance. You can push yourself more in the weight room, in the wrestling room. I don't think any wrestling coach has ever told a guy, hey, quit running laps after practice or quit jumping rope or quit doing push-ups. And so a lot of just incredible discipline and heart from these wrestlers.
And truly it does start with the individual. It is really so much involved in the individual aspect of the sport because you're the only one out there. It's trying to do gymnastics with somebody trying to beat you up while you're doing it.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's something that I think it's the greatest sport in the world. I work with middle schoolers, and I always try to encourage them because just being resilient, being tough. The world is sometimes a hard place to be, and a lot of ups and downs, and you have to be tough enough to continue to battle, and I think wrestling does that. It puts a lot of responsibility on your shoulders, and you're going to be able to work and fight for the outcome you want.
So many transferable skills and things to other sports as well. I mean, you hear about how many, say, players in the NFL wrestled at some point in high school or that kind of thing. You look at, the legendary coach Dan Gable, famous for the saying, after you wrestle, everything else is easy. I probably didn't get that exactly right, but it's definitely along those lines because of the mental toughness, the grind, the aspect. And, something else we haven't talked about is the discipline that these athletes show to maintain their weight and their weight class throughout the season over 2 holidays, or actually 3 holidays. You got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas, you got New Year's. So the enormous amount of determination and discipline that these athletes show while they're being students, like you said. But Maddie's definitely fighting here. Scores 12-0. Now it's 14-0.
That was a 2-point reversal, so they never gave her the escape. So one of the unique rules is they kind of have a mercy rule in wrestling. It's a 15-point advantage. Once you get up by 15, they call it a match termination or a technical fall, and they end up stopping the match. So this does help, the team that wins. They get a 5-point victory instead of a 6-point victory. That would be a forfeit or a fall. There's a lot of times that this does come into play. I remember one time wrestling for Oklahoma State. We went and wrestled Penn State. And at that time, I was wrestling the defending national champion, the outstanding wrestler of the tournament. And
what a draw!
And he it was a pretty easy match for me because I couldn't do anything. Well, he ended up beating me 20-5.
But you didn't get pinned.
I didn't get pinned, and the final score of the duel was 17-16. So
that made a difference.
Did I do anything well that night? Not really. Did the late great Tommy Chesbro say, I really wish you kind of stayed in there and tried to score a little bit. So that unfortunate, but we ended up winning the duel. And if I wasn't there, if I wasn't competing against the absolute stud named Jeff Prescott, then Penn State would have got the win.
A lot of heart there by Maddie. You know, she, like we said, she was fighting off her back for the double chicken wing in the first period and even got turned there at the end of the third period, but we did not give up the fall. So good effort there. Appreciate her heart.
And that's hard as a senior. You're going out there, you're trying to, have that fairy tale ending. And again, it's not about the outcome, it's about the process. It's about learning how to deal with the ups and downs, how to be tough, how to, get knocked down and get back up. It's okay to be disappointed with a performance, but you need to be looking at the process about the day in, day out attack on the sport, how you're doing your grades, what your diet is, what your exercise program is, and then go out there and do the best you can.
So this brings us to 140 pounds, another experienced wrestler. Has had some success, Jillian Fitzsaxeth for the Trojans, wrestling Addison Klima for Claremore. Jillian has had some success placing at some tournaments last year and this year.
And she's been wrestling since the middle school, trying to get into it, trying to get as much mat time as she possibly can. Sometimes it's difficult when you are, trying to figure everything out to be able to get those matches, because you can practice in the room all you want, but if you don't figure out how to get out on the mat and get that experience, it's hard to continue your really advanced growth.
Yeah, we talk about the importance of mat time, mat experience, just being in matches, being in those situations, because you can see, just watching, so much of this is you hit a move and your opponent counters that move, or they initiate a move and you have to counter off of that, and then you get in a situation. And so once you start to build that repertoire of experience of, this is what it feels like to be in this situation, this is what I did before, this worked well, this didn't work well. Klima going for the stack here. You can see she has Jillian's leg hooked, forcing that head down on the mat.
Yeah, that's really nice. She has a lot of control. She has the leg hooked. She has her cross wrist hooked, and she's stuffing her head. She was able to get a three-point near fall out of that by putting her on the ground. And now she's going for more of a traditional half and go straight up over the top. Oh, good reverse. Again, that's part of the flexibility.
Great battle right there. She goes from her back to getting the reversal there. So going to go into the second period, score of 8-2. Claremore defers. They get the first choice of what they want to do in the second period. And so since they defer, Jillian's looking to Coach Wilkie, and she's going to decide to take top here.
So looking over Coach Wilkie's stuff, he actually started coaching in Stillwater at Stillwater Junior High while he was still in college. So he was at Oklahoma State University, and he started at the junior high program.
And he's from that area. He was a Blackwell
Maroon
wrestler, right?
Yep. He ended up coaching at Stillwater High School for 8 years, and he was the All-State coach in 1980.
Wow.
And that's when he came to Jenks. So he came to Jenks in 1980. He ended up being inducted into the Oklahoma chapter of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame in 2015. And he's been involved with Jenks ever since. So from 1980 till now, he has been doing something around the sport of wrestling. Last year he was the assistant coach, the girls coach, and then this year he became the head coach.
So my Larry Wilkie story, when I got hired in the district in 1993, yeah, I'm old too. I'm not 1980 old, but I'm 1993 old. So Jillian doing a nice job of following there, scrambling, staying on top and control. But
this is a good ride. Now she's got her broke down, has the opportunity for a barbed wire. Looking to be able to get her on her back and keep driving. We still got plenty of time. That's the end. That
Nice
looks like
job.
a pin. Oh.
great work right there for Jillian, working to get the fall. Like you said, going from that top position, working underneath to grab those elbows, get that barbed wire, and once she had it hooked up, it did not take her long to finish it off, lifting up the head of the of the Claremore wrestler and finishing things off. So great job by Jillian to get 6 points on the board for the Trojans.
Yeah, I noticed they were deciding what position she wanted to start with, and she was like, I want
top. Now we know why.
Now we know why. She had a good ride, had to follow her hips around, chase her around, and then ended up getting that barbed wire and knew exactly what she was doing. I think that's part of the skill set. She's done that once or twice, so
Yeah.
that was a nice barbed wire.
So this is Shelby Correa, and I believe she's wrestling Paige Webster. Not really sure the Claremore. They've got a couple of spots on their roster here, but Shelby is in there on the takedown.
That was a nice single into a peek out and got a takedown out of it. That movement was nice. She was circling one way, went back to the high crotch, got a little extended, but then when the Claremore opponent covered her, she was able to peek out the opposite side and secure the takedown.
Kind of what we talk about that mat experience, because she wasn't in an ideal optimum position where you wanted to be there, but she didn't give up on it and she didn't stop. Lots of times in wrestling, if you stop and think about what's going on, then you're already behind a split second of what your opponent's going to do. So she does a nice job of not giving up and not bailing out and sticking with it there to end up with the takedown, as well as staying on top when her opponent tried to kick out there as they wrestled to the edge of the mat.
Yeah, that was a good ride, and that is 100% accurate. You can't think in wrestling; it has to be natural reaction. If you have to think about it, you're a little too late. When I get people into wrestling, they get started, I always tell them it's kind of like a cat fight. You don't know what you're doing, you're working really hard, but it's going 100 miles an hour. And if you ever watch a cat fight, you have no idea who's up, who's down, or what's going on.
I might have to do some YouTube videos searches. I don't know that I've seen a cat fight, but yeah, just there's a lot of that mat experience teaches you just body position, body awareness, hip position, hand placement, your head position, just so many things that go into it that the more time you get on the mat, the more experience you get, the better you feel more confident in those positions.
And that's what, once you start wrestling, start feeling what you're doing, you're not just reacting, you are actually planning stuff out. So I say it goes from a cat fight, which is totally chaotic, to you're playing checkers. Now it's like, oh, I want to move here, and I want to move here, I want to move here. And that's a huge step, because things really do slow down. You kind of know what to expect. As you get better and better, it does become chess.
Yeah.
So it's not just a one-dimensional, checkers. You are thinking ahead, moving side to side and diagonally and everything else. So there's definitely levels to this.
And Shelby was looking for that chicken wing again at the end of the period, and might have been able to get it if she had just a little bit more time there in the period, but Shelby's going to get her choice, and she's going to choose top, it looks like. Coach is talking it over. Do you want top or do you want neutral? And Shelby goes, no, I want to be on top. Breaking her down, looking for that
Power
half.
Pushing the forearm in the back of the head, pushing the head down, going underneath the arm. Should be locking your hands and then going for it. So
She's doing a nice job of keeping that. She was doing a nice job of keeping her hips down, getting her broken down here. She's got that arm tied up, trying to get her flattened out.
all those tight weights take a turn. She's squeezing her midsection while she does it. She's flattening her out, and every time that happens, the person on bottom has to keep reacting, keep trying to come up, and it gets exhausting. So now she's able to get her flat again. She had her hands locked. If she would switch her grip and actually put the other hand on bottom, her pry bar power half would be a little bit more effective, but you can definitely tell she knows what she wants, and she's continued to work at it.
Doing a nice job riding here in the second period with a 3-0 lead, just under a minute to go in the second period. But think about how hard it is to do push-ups when you're tired, when you're in that bottom position right here, when somebody's been riding you like this. You're trying to do a push-up right here, a one-handed push-up, while you have somebody on top of you. Shelby goes for the roll, trying to lock it up.
And she's really been dominating the match. She scored in the first, and now she's putting a tough ride here in the second. We'd definitely like to score some points here. Choosing the top position, you definitely want to be able to get that point. She's got 15 seconds out, but she's putting a lot of pressure on the Claremore athlete. There's a lot of will being exerted right here.
And I like the idea of going for the tilt there that she had, and she didn't take too much of a chance. She didn't put herself in jeopardy, but I like the idea. You can tell she's thinking, like you said, of those checker moves, what she wants to do next.
Yeah, and that's really nice for her to have that effort. But again, it was low risk. She tried it.
Yep.
She didn't sell out for it, so it wasn't putting a chance. One thing you don't want to do in wrestling is, be your own worst enemy. You don't want to jump to your back and give a person an opportunity to catch you there and end a match. So she has been dominating the match. She took top in the second period, and the Claremore athlete took top in the third period. So the Claremore thinks she's pretty good on top and thinks she has an opportunity to score some points and put the Trojan on her back. So we'll see.
Or she thinks I can't take her down because I couldn't take her down the first period, and I can't get away from her because I couldn't get away the second period. So sometimes you got to worry about that too. But Shelby tried a nice sit out there at the beginning of the period. She sits out again, turnbacks in, brings her arm through, and now she's back to a neutral position with a 4-0 lead coming up with about 1:15 left in the third period.
She did well. She got hand control early and then was able to sit out and pinch her elbows in so she could turn and face her opponent and get that point. So now it's 4-0, which a takedown is worth 3. So she's in a pretty safe position. The Claremore Zero shot a across the body high crotch. Great sprawl, and looks those hips in, lifting those ankles, staying wide, staying away, trying to get around and get the points. It is 4-0. This is really exhausted for the bottom person. You have the leg, you're trying to pop your head out, you're trying to be able to go score, and you're just getting squished down there.
So it's a stalemate, but again, Shelby does a nice job of applying hip pressure, and so you're really extending that Claremore wrestler's grip and hands, and like you said, they're locked in there trying to hang on, but it's really tiring them out because Shelby's applying so much hip pressure there. Come back to their feet with 25 seconds left in the third period.
And that whole series took some time off the board. So again, she tried the across the body high crotch and a very good sprawl. She wasn't able to attack the knee, so we were able to score a takedown. Now it's 7-0.
And again, if she can pick up at least an 8-point win, then it's a major decision, which gives the team 4 points instead of a regular 3 points for just a decision.
Especially with this close score. It is 23-18 right now. Now it's going to be 23-21. And so with it being 23-21, we have 2 7-point wins. If those were just 1 point more, it'd be tied up right now. So that is kind of the importance of the team score, the team aspect of it. While they did a great job and they won, it's we're down by 2 points starting this duel.
You got Victoria Evans now against Paige Webster from Claremore.
That was a nice sprawl and try to go behind. Wasn't successful, but looking to see what we can do. I mean, the easiest way to score is to sprawl and go behind somebody. It's when you are trying to attack and trying to go score, it's difficult not to get out of position. That was a very nice high crotch, though. Attacking the upper body with the tie-ups, pushing the elbow across and hitting that high crotch. Being able to take Victoria down and get a takedown. So the score is 3-0 with 1:11 left in the first period. Girl on top has a bar arm, 2-on-1 bar arm, and now she's looking for a half Nelson. That is probably the best pinning move there is, just a good old half Nelson, where you're able to put your arm underneath the opponent's arm, over the back of their head, and really start to torque and put a lot of leverage on it. Here we go, she switched to a power half. She has her wrist right, that's really tight right there. Using that leverage to get that arm up and take her to her back and get the pin. That power half really changes it from the half just because you're using the lever. I mean, somebody really smart once said, if you give me a lever long enough and a place to stand, I can lift the world. And that's where Victoria was able to fight off that half Nelson for a long time. But then when it became a power half, it put a lot more torque on there.
And we have the last senior for the Trojans, Kayla Parnell, coming out. She's picking up a forfeit. Very close match here. The final team score, 27 for the Trojans, 29 for Claremore. Again, like you said, you know, just picking up a couple of major decisions there. Would have tied it up, but a lot of heart shown by the Trojans tonight on senior night.
Yeah, that was a good, exciting duel. It comes down to a 2-point match, and we talked about, you know, all the girls wrestle really well. It's not about whether you win the match or you don't win the match. You have your own personal feelings on how you wrestled and how you competed, but then you look up at the score and see how close you were, because it was a very competitive duel, a very good duel, and it was a night and day difference between where we were last year watching
definitely.
the girls wrestling and watching this year.
Definitely.
You can tell they have a lot more experience, a lot more understanding of what they're doing. The conditioning was really well, and it was a battle all the way through.
All right, well, that'll take care of the action for the ladies Trojan wrestling team. We will come back after this break for more Trojan wrestling in the Frank Herald Field House senior night, Trojans versus Claremore, right here on Trojan TV.
When pain slows you down, even the simplest movements can feel out of reach. But you don't have to go through it alone. At Advanced Orthopedics of Oklahoma, we provide the results you want and the care you deserve. From diagnosis to recovery, our specialists offer advanced treatment and personalized care so you can heal and get back to what moves you. Because life keeps moving, and we'll keep you moving with it every step of the way. Advanced Orthopedics of Oklahoma. Heal, recover, advance.
Let me tell you about this new Pretzel Cheddar Club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. When I add the Dijon mustard to this pretzel bun, it takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Our pets are more than just pets. They're our people, our family. And when they get sick, we want them to be cared for like family. At Woodland West, pet care is personal. We care for your animals the same way we care for our own. As the most comprehensive facility in the Tulsa area for everything from diagnostics to treatment, you can trust that our team of compassionate veterinary experts are delivering the care your animal deserves. Your pet is always there for you. Let us be there to keep them in good health. Woodland West Animal Hospital.
And we're back at the Frank Herald Field House for more action here as we get ready for the team run out for the Trojans here on senior night. Jenks Trojans versus Claremore Zebras.
So Claremore is 18-4 on the year. They're coached by Chad Willard, Ryan Yon, Zach Weber, Michael Williams, Billy Willard, and Josh Cunningham. They have several returning state qualifiers. At 113, Dawson Back. 120, Tristan Peters. 144, Raul Perez. 144, Gunnar Murray. 157, Hayden Lee. 165, Jackson Roach. Last year they were state runner-ups. They are headed to the dual state championships. They were district champions in their district this year. So this is going to be a very good duel between Jenks Trojans and the Claremore Zebras. They have a lot of dual wins this year. This is a very, very talented 5A team.
Like you said, a lot of experience, and Want to welcome all the fans here at Trojan TV to Trojan Wrestling, our second broadcast. Came with the inaugural broadcast last year. I'm Eric Fox, assistant principal at the Jenks High School, along with Ray Weiss, assistant principal at Jenks Middle School. We just happen to have the honor of working together for a while in Jenks Wrestling, and so excited that Coach Weiss could join the Trojan TV broadcast here tonight to lend his expertise. Accomplished wrestler at Stillwater High School and later on for the Oklahoma State University Cowboys. We haven't had a chance to talk about Cowboy wrestling. That's pretty exciting. You got to see a duel in Gallagher-Iba on Sunday.
Yeah, I went on Sunday and watched them wrestle Iowa State. OSU was ranked 5th in the country, and Iowa State was ranked 3rd. And Cowboys really dominated from the beginning to the end. It was a lot of very close, highly contested matches. But Cowboys did an incredible job. They're looking good. It was a great atmosphere. There's 10,002 people in the stands, and I overheard some kids behind me in the stands that were basketball fans and really didn't know why they're there. Just somebody had tickets, so they showed up, and they were like, wow, wouldn't it be great if OSU had this many people for a basketball game?
And the Trojans get the tunnel back to inflated. Excited to be with you. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching on Trojan TV. I know we have some people from all around watching tonight. I know there's a guy in Grand Junction, Colorado wrestling, watching tonight. Carter Fox texted in. I know you just got a text message from a former Trojan wrestler.
Yeah, an All-Stater, Dylan Garcia. He was saying, you better shout me out. He's a Tulsa firefighter right now. Really good to hear from him. He was one of our athletes that was did really incredibly well for us. Very, very good memories from Dylan Garcia.
Dylan was a battler. He was a warrior for sure. Had a good career here, went on and served in the military, and now he's a Tulsa firefighter, so appreciate his service. And so you'll see here the two teams will come out and for the intros, and we'll let the intros take it away.
It's a nice atmosphere. We have some spotlights going on. We got some light effects, and whole gym is closed, and kind of make it special because it is senior night. It is something that these kids have worked out for a long time, and if you, like you said, I did go up to Stillwater, and boy did they have light shows, boy did they have music, boy did they have special effects. It's a little bit different than when I wrestled there, where you just ran out there, shook hands, and got after it.
But these guys work really hard for these moments, and we'll talk about some of the wrestlers in the lineup here as we go through tonight, especially highlighting some of the seniors. There is going to be a little, I guess you could say, not hijinks necessarily, but Coach talked to us about sometimes a team weighs two guys in at the same weight, so you don't actually know who's going to wrestle until they step out on the mat. Why do teams weigh in two guys at the same weight?
Well, it's for a myriad of different reasons. Sometimes it's because they have two guys that are really good, and they don't know which one's going to wrestle. Sometimes it might be a little bit of a ploy. Somebody may be hurt or banged up or sick. Sometimes a guy at a different weight is not able to wrestle, so they'll wrestle one guy and bump the other guy up. And it kind of depends on how talented your kids are, but also knowing the opponents. If you know the opponents and you know they have a really tough guy, then you may match up tough on tough, or you may try to take an advantage. So it's a little bit of coaching strategy, and it's high school wrestling. You never know what's going to happen. Sometimes kids are sick. Sometimes they're not sure. Sometimes they're not feeling well. So you have to make sure you give your team the best opportunity.
You got the seniors coming out as captains tonight. Coach, tell us about the seniors that are out here tonight. Maybe just tell us their names real quick, and we'll get a chance to talk about them a little bit later as they wrestle.
All right, we got Garrison Boba. We have Isaac Austin. We have Michael Pautong. We have Bryson Collier. Conan Law. We have Christian Shunk. We have Zach, Biggie Zag Goodman. Sir Isaac Newton, and the other person that is a senior is a manager. It's
yeah.
Kaylin Messick.
Yeah, so appreciate those If you joined the broadcast earlier before the girls' matches, you saw them come out with their family members and supporters. And wrestling is a tough sport, so to make it to your senior year, you know, it's quite an accomplishment. A lot of people give it up before their senior year. It's a tough sport, but congratulations to these seniors and their families.
Yeah, I kept a track of every kid who wrestled for me here at Jenks for probably about 15 years. And throughout that time, I would go back and I would look, and I would say about 40% of the sophomores finished as seniors.
Wow.
So even though they, you know, wrestled, had experience, it's a little bit different wrestling at the high school level in 6A. 6A wrestling in Oklahoma is about as tough as they can get.
Well, I know I got to come out as a senior parent for senior night when my son Grant came through, and you gave him a big hug along with the rest of the coaching staff, Coach Hughes, Coach Glenn, and former coach Amos Cherry. We miss Coach Cherry. What a tremendous person he was, I know, in my son's life and other wrestlers' life. But we're starting here at 113 match with Cale Lawson.
Yeah, we're don't have that 6-pound weight class, so we had to forfeit that. But here we are at 113 pounds.
Cale's wrestling for Claremore tonight. Who's his opponent?
I just handed that to you. We'll
All
see.
right. This is Dawson Back.
Dawson backs in on a high crotch, but Cale is going over the top, looking for a cradle, looking for a barm, trying to get those hips in, trying to break that leg free. Now they're going to more of a traditional high crotch position. Cale's trying to, what I used to call slime the corner, get around behind the back of him and be able to get that takedown. Guys holding on. And there you go. Cale got a half on the far side. Now if he can continue to wiggle down, continue to put pressure on him, continue to get his, he needs to get his knee below that guy's shoulder. That guy's shoulder's flat on the mat, and he wasn't able to get up underneath him. That's why we needed to lift him up and go over the top.
Coach Hughes going over talking to the official. You can't question the judgment call, but you can ask for clarification on a rule, although it doesn't always happen that way.
It doesn't, and it's difficult sometimes when you are the coach, and you know, I always thought I was accurate and fair about what I was looking at, but maybe I did have a little bit of rose-colored glasses, wanting my kid to be the one in the great position and get the call.
Well, I can tell you my record as an official is outstanding, especially from the coach's corner, even up in the bleachers. I always call a good match.
Oh, that was a nice shot by the Claremore kid. He was able to change his levels, beat the arms, get all the way into the double leg. But it's not over yet. Cale was able to lock up in the crotch. He was able to battle. Oh, and now he gave 3 points, and now he's on his back. We're still wrapped around the legs, but I know they might be upset that they think this guy still had the leg, but he was able to get a 3-point takedown. So the final score after the first period is 3-0 Claremore.
Yeah, I'm not sure Cale was aware that the official had awarded 3-point takedown there. He was still fighting for position. Almost ended up on his back, exposing his back, but Cale deferred, and so Claremore wrestler took down, bottom position. So Cale's going to go to work on the top, going for that cross-face cradle. We talked about earlier, taking that left arm, driving it over to the tricep of his opponent, trying to lock up on the leg.
So this opponent from Claremore was a state qualifier last year. So this is a a highly touted kid, and tough competition. Whenever there were some years when I was coaching that if you qualified for state, you were pretty good. Now you have to be very good to qualify for state. The level of competition at 6A is really tough, and so really to be a state champion now, you can't be even really good. You have to be an elite wrestler. We've had an influx of kids come into Oklahoma. We have incredibly good coaching. They're year-round athletes. And every year at the state tournament, like at each weight, there's nationally ranked kids.
Kale getting close to exposing the back there, fighting on the scramble.
Going hard for that cross-face cradle again. He's trying to push that elbow across. He does have the tricep.
The coaching staff says this is Kale's third year to wrestle as a junior, but has a pretty nice record at 16-9 for a third-year wrestler. Trying to get his hips around, not give up in a reversal here with 28 seconds left. Claremore goes head hunting here. Looks like he's going to get the reversal. He's got Kale's leg torque, so Kale wants to get that free so he doesn't expose himself on his back here with 13 seconds left in the period. So we'll wrap up the second period here. Claremore has the advantage with a takedown in the first period and a reversal in the second period. So Kale gets his choice in the third period. He's going to choose the neutral position.
I'd love for him to be able to get this takedown right here, because he was making headway on the cross-face cradle, just wasn't quite able to get it accomplished. Look at him slide in there. Now they're in front headlock position. Guy's got a chest wrap, looking for a peek out. Head in the hole, go behind. Now he got a cradle hooked up. Yeah, that's tough right here. That was a good move by Claremore. He was able to duck his head, control that front headlock, circle around, grab Kale's leg, get a cradle, get the takedown, and put him on his back. So that was a 5-point move with a 3-point takedown and a 2-point near fall. Kale's able to get out of it, get back to his base, but now we have work to do. It is a 10-point decision, and we're stuck in a chicken wing right here. Now he's looking for a chicken wing tilt. Kale has to stay flat, trying to reach down and get that hand off of his waist that's controlling the wrist. So he's got a chicken wing in, and the guy has control of the wrist. This is a tough position.
Yeah, really, as you talk about defending the chicken wing, the best defense of the chicken wing is don't get in the chicken wing, right? It's really hard to get that arm down once he's got, especially when he's got that tight waist around there.
Yeah. If he could reach down and get his wrist free, he'd be able to kind of put his hand on the mat and crawl it forward and be able to defend that chicken wing. It takes a little bit of leverage. The guy's running that chicken wing tough, though. He goes from a tilt to a stack, from a tilt to a stack, looking for a tilt right there. He only got a 1 count, now I got another 1 count, so there's no points awarded. Oh.
Kale's fighting it hard.
But now he got that 4-point near fall with that chicken wing stack.
So
and the match finishes up 14-0.
So 14-0 again in the team score. A regular decision for 7 points or less is 3 team points. Major decision, as we've talked about, for 8 points or more is 4 points for the team. Technical fall, like you said, is 5 points for the team, but that has to be a 15-point victory, and then a fall or a forfeit is 16 points. So fighting off that fall really helps there, Kale.
Yeah, not getting
turned again.
Too.
Yeah.
So 8 or 14, that doesn't really change as far as the team score, but that was a pretty good win by a very good kid. The kid was a state qualifier last year, and you could see why.
This brings up Riley Bradley for the Trojans at 120 pounds versus Tristan Peters from Claremore.
And Tristan was a state qualifier again last year. So this is another one of Claremore's tougher kids. So they have 6 state qualifiers, and they start at 113, 120 with 2 of them. So this is some of the best kids they have. That was a good scramble right there by Riley.
He's got the hand around the right hand around the waist. He's got the left hand up on that single leg, trying to get it up off the mat. See him scoop it back.
That looks good. So Claremore did get the takedown. So he is still in control. So the score is 3-0. Bradley's in on a high crotch, trying to peek his head up. Trying to get tough, getting down to the ankle.
Claremore giving a tough cross face.
That was a tough butt. He got him over the top of him. Now he's going to turn into a scramble right here. Turn into a scramble. The guy covered his hips really well.
Just kind of turned back into Riley there at the edge of the mat. So the scramble, Riley didn't have a chance to turn the corner.
All right, looks like we have a little nose bleed. So we're going to take a little bit of time out. So wrestling is really a weird sport because they have this thing called the blood time. When you bleed, they stop the clock and they let you take care of the blood before you get back out there. You have a 5-minute time limit of blood time.
And when you say a 5-minute time for blood time, what you're talking about is actually the time that it's bleeding, right? You stop the clock after the bleeding has stopped if you have to do cleanup or that kind of thing. And so Riley didn't use too much time there, but gets to his feet very quickly there off the whistle. The guy brings him back down, going for the tilt.
He's trying to get that turnover now. Oh, this is a heck of a scramble. These guys are getting after it. They are wrapped up. If he can pop his head up, he's going to get a reverse right here. He's looking for a reverse. That should be two. That should be two. That is a 2-point reversal. That is just scrambling right there. That is not necessarily moves. That's just figuring out how to come out on top.
Well, he did get those flankers in, right? So that helped him make sure that he could get his hips up on top and get that reversal.
Absolutely, and that was big time because that's right at the end of the period. So we got taken down, but we got the reverse.
You really set that up by his quick first move on the whistle, right? We talk about all the time to our wrestlers, get that first move off the whistle instead of waiting for your opponent to do something and react to it. And he came to his feet quickly, and by doing that, he was able to get into a scramble, get those flankers in, and get 2-point reversal at the end of the period.
Yeah. Well, he had that blood time. He went over there and saw Coach, or Mr. Catterson, Mike Catterson. He is our athletic trainer here at Jenks High School. He has done a fantastic job in taking that program to really levels I didn't know it would ever quite get to. Does a really good job. He is a big fan of wrestling. He was here while I was here, and it's nice when you know you have a top-notch quality individual that really knows this stuff, being able to help the wrestling program, because wrestling programs is a little bit different sport. There's some of the things you have to go through is quite a bit different.
Well, and Mr. Catterson was a wrestler, like you said himself, Charles Page High School in Sand Springs, wrestled for the famous Coach Carstetter, Alan Carstetter over there, and wrestled with some guys like Kelly Smith, who's the current coach over at Charles Page now. But speaking of Mr. Catterson, want to give him a shout out. Congratulations to him. Just was notified that he is going to go into the Oklahoma Athletic Trainers Association Hall of Fame with their induction ceremony this summer. And then also was granted a regional award by the Regional Athletic Trainers Association. He's very involved not only here in the state but on the national level, especially in preparing student trainers, and he's done a great job with kind of a student trainer internship program, and helping get students who are interested in sports medicine, athletic training opportunities ready for the next level.
And you know, he does a great job. We actually have a trainer from Oklahoma State University here being a mentor with Coach Catterson. He does a great job of being involved in the program. I know when he is a wrestling fan. When I go to the Big 12 championships, I watch him on the sidelines helping out through the University of Tulsa program, and you know, he's all over the place. So he's very involved in the sport and very involved in athletic training. We're very fortunate to have him here at Jenks High School.
And his wife Kimberly does an outstanding job at the Freshman Academy as a counselor. You see Riley having to fight off his back with a tough half Nelson there at the end of the period, but does a nice job of not giving up the fall. So we go into the third period, Claremore leading 10-3 as they're on their feet for the third period. Gets that leg up,
Oh.
Position that the Claremore wrestler was very comfortable in.
So he kind of tricked him right there. Riley was in on the single leg, and then the guy reached between his legs and pulled him back. And as he has him locked up, he was trying to get back points out of it. There was a guy out of Sand Springs that did this, and it has a bunch of different names, but I named it the Church because the kid over there that did it was Zach Church, and he did it all the time. So I was like, didn't know what they were calling it, and so.
He almost would want you to take his leg just so he could say that's when you're talking about the chess match of wrestling, knowing what position you want your opponent in so much that you're able to set that up way in advance. So it's 13-3 here in the third period. Riley's fighting tough on bottom.
And that's the levels to this. Riley is a very good wrestler. I've watched him since 7th grade. He is tough. He is really good at what he does. It just makes it tough when you're against another very good kid and you're in a great position. You're in a single leg, and then, the guy's doing another move and putting you on your back.
Like you said before, Peter's one of the state qualifiers, the mini state qualifiers that Claremore has back, helping them as both a tough dual squad and both a tough tournament team as well. Peter's trying to lock up the cradle. Riley doing a nice job of not giving that up, not giving up any more back points. So the final match score will be 13-3. That'll be a major decision. Claremore will pick up another 4 points to bring the team score to 14-0 at this point.
And that shows you how some of these good athletes are. I mean, Riley has 25 wins on the season. He has a lot of wins. He's a very high-quality athlete, and the Claremore kid was a little bit better than him tonight. But that's this is big-time wrestling.
Next, we'll move to the 126-pound match with Ethan Boyd from Claremore wrestling Seattle Lindsay. Seattle is a junior. He's wrestled for 7 years. Thinking about going to OU in the medical field. He's in quick on a single.
That was a good low shot and a quick finish too. That was a good start to the match. A lot of energy out there right now.
Kind of what we talked about, not stopping. Don't stop with your shot. Go ahead and continue the move and finish the move. You come by that by drilling hard every day.
This power half Nelson, watching. Ooh, that looks tight. That's a good half. Started with the legs in. Might have got some help with that from Brian Hill, one of the assistant coaches. Wow, that was a nice transition from both legs in to a power half to a half Nelson to a pin. That was a very good match.
So a very good 40-second match there as Seattle picks up the fall, but goes in aggressively on the shot, finishes the shot, gets the flanker in, looks for the power half, gets the fall for the Trojans to get the Trojans on the board. Now the team score of 14-6.
I mentioned Coach Hill. He's one of the assistant coaches here. He was a OU grad, and he wrestled for the University of Oklahoma. He was a 2-year starter for them. He's been with the program since his son started, and he is a outstanding addition to the program.
Son was a state qualifier, right?
Absolutely was. He was a 3-year starter and state qualifier in 23. And really, he has done even better since he's left high school. He is the National Army ROTC Scholarship winner. He's at Emory-Riddle in Aeronautical University in Arizona. He's doing very good and will graduate and commission as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army in 27.
Well, and that's where you talk about all the benefits that wrestling brings to a wrestler. As we look at the 132-pound match here with Max Warrior for the Trojans catching a tough opponent from Claremore, Ashton Darnell.
Oh, that's close.
That's close to a full Nelson?
It was close to a full Nelson. That's a tough.
Darnell just forcing that head down hard.
There's still a minute left. Let's see if we can. Very difficult to, but let's see if he can continue to fight. Be able to squeeze out. Got caught in that half Nelson. But that's one thing that's really special about the Jenks program is the type of people around it, the type of coaches. Ryan Hill he's retired 25 years with Tulsa Police Department. Very much involved in jiu-jitsu. He's an instructor and a black belt, and has really been a big part of the program. When his son got in right when I left, he's just a big help, very much involved, and it's kind of a volunteer thing for him. You know, he's retired and working. He stayed around at Jenks because his daughter is also a Jenks lifer. Ethan was Jenks lifer, and his daughter is Jenks lifer. She's a 2-year starter and made the state tournament first team in all-state big schools east. So she's an all-stater. She's going to go to the Citadel and play volleyball. And she's going to also be in the Army ROTC, going to major in intelligence and security studies.
Wow.
And that's part of, you know, the family tradition of
service and commitment
and dedication, hard work, and you know all the good things that people bring to the table.
So big matchup right here for the Trojans. Bring up freshman Liam Newton at 138 pounds against Cale Schultz for Claremore. Coach, you can talk a little bit about, you know, Liam is a freshman wrestling varsity. He's wrestled varsity all season, but he just came off of a junior high tournament in Edmond, possibly one of, if not the toughest junior high wrestling tournament. And how'd he do there?
He was champion. And that's when you start looking at how good the junior high feeder programs are. Our junior high this year is led by Biff Jones, who's been a head coach at a number of different local schools at Glenpool. He was at Sepulpa. He was part of a Broken Arrow program for a number of years. His son came through here at Jenks. He was a starting quarterback and a state qualifier for us. Ended up being a state placer. He took Liam down to Edmond last weekend, and wow, he just really wrestled well. He battled all the way through and ended up being the champion. And a lot of times when you are an Edmond champion, it gets you a very high seed for junior high state.
Well, one of the reasons, you know, some people consider it to be a tougher tournament than even the junior high state tournament is the junior high state tournament has more weight brackets, more weight divisions than the regular Edmond tournament. So sometimes you spread some of those tough guys out among different weight classes. But regardless, the junior high had a great tournament showing last week, finished in the top 10 of the Edmond tournament. I think 6th or 8th, I can't remember which it was, but had several guys place, and they will head to junior high state tournament this weekend. And so Liam got taken down here. It's 3-0, but again, this is an experienced Claremore wrestler. I think this is one of their state qualifiers, right?
I think that's the next weight.
Okay. This is Cale Schultz at 138 pounds.
Yeah, now the next guy, they have 2 at the next 2 weights, so we'll see what weight one of them's going to bump up or not to see who's going to end up being wrestling at 44. So at 44 in the next weight, they'll have some good tough. Yeah, this guy had a really nice duck under. He was able to get Liam's elbow up, go underneath, and get that takedown. That was a good mat return attempt, changing to an ankle, looking to go switch off to a double leg, be able to go take him back down. The guy's going to try what they call a mouse trap. Came over the top, trying to go and grab the guy's. Oh.
Then just decided to kick out of it.
Baited him with it, got him nervous about the move called the mouse trap, and then kicked out. It's nice being back in the gym. I went back and looked at the wrestling room and looked at all the Wall of Fame and the pictures on the walls, and it was really cool to see some of those names. One of the old-timers that I got to meet when I came here was a guy named Mike Babb.
First state champ in Jenks history.
in any sport, which
Yeah.
which kind of surprised me. He was outstanding, doing very well. Came back and was a big supporter of Jenks wrestling. It was really cool to see him up on the wall, and
Longtime school board member, gave back to the community, is serving on the school board.
absolutely. Another one I see quite often is Herb Jones. Herb Jones works for Jenks here. He's one of the head drivers at the transportation department. The ref's going to have to rethink that. He called a 2 takedown and then a 2-point reverse. So the guy tried that mousetrap again. The ref did give him a takedown out of it, and then we were able to get a reverse. And now we have an escape. Score is 10-2 with about 10 seconds left in the second period.
So Liam's been battling through several tough positions, but Claremore's been able to score out of some of those. And like you said, going into the third period now, Claremore has the lead, 10-2.
Yeah, we got to figure out when we are in on the single leg on how we're going to change our levels to be able to keep him from locking between our legs and trying to tilt us up so that we can go ahead and finish and score. And again, this guy's probably a little bit older. I don't know what grades he's in, but he has the experience and a little bit more comfortable in that position. Guy tried his duck again. Now he's got a 2-on-1, trying to take him down. We need to control the tie-ups and get the tie-ups that we want so that we can be able to go into our scoring positions.
And again, you bring that up. I mean, in wrestling, you compete by weight divisions, not grade levels, not age. So, you know, you're a 14 or 15-year-old freshman could be going against a 17, 18, maybe even a 19-year-old at times if they're a senior. And so that's why Liam has done such a great job of picking up some good varsity experience and has really helped him out when he does wrestle at the junior high level.
Well, especially since, like, at this weight, you see a lot of freshmen at 106 and 113.
Yeah.
But we're getting up there. This is 138, and when you're 138 and you are battling here, it's tough for a freshman to step in at this weight and really compete.
Be successful.
Yeah. But he is battling. He almost had a takedown there. He went for an inside-out trip. The guy was trying to pass him by, and great scramble, great action on the side as they go out of bounds. Come back to a fresh start. Newton hit a good slide-by attempt into a shot. Just coming up a little bit short. 34 seconds left, 10-2.
If he can get a takedown, if he can score a point, then that changes it from a major decision to just a regular decision. So, again, that's what you want to see. You want to see a guy fighting to the end of the match, doing everything he can to score points and help his team out.
Oh,
and
he
there,
did.
Thought he had it.
The guy tried the mousetrap again, ended up bailing out, and we almost end up scoring at it, almost getting a takedown.
So you like the aggressiveness, the tenacity that he has shown all through as he's battled through this match, fighting for every point, trying to help out his team here.
Oh, great headlock attempt. I really like that because you have a very short amount of time. You try a headlock, you may get him on his back and have a chance to win the match. He does give up the takedown, which made it 13-2, but it doesn't change the team score.
He was already down 8 points, and so by doing that, he's going for a big move, trying to help his team out. You'd like to see that out of anybody, whether they're a freshman or not. So good battle there by Liam.
Absolutely. And it's smart wrestling. I mean, if you're down by 7, maybe you don't try that because it's not a high percentage move. But and you may give up the bonus point, but that was a great attempt right there. He battled in a lot of positions, had a lot of good skill set. That one position, that mousetrap position, kind of threw him for a little bit of a loop, and that really changed the complexity of the match.
So, Coach, this is one of those situations where both teams have waited. Both teams have weighed in 2 different guys. So this is kind of big dude versus big dude. This is Gunnar Murray for Claremore, one of their more successful wrestlers.
Yeah, he was a state qualifier last year.
Going up against Champ Thompson. So these are two very successful wrestlers going to go head-to-head. Wasn't sure where Claremore was going to go with Gunner, and so that was going to kind of depend on what Coach Hughes decided to do with Champ, and so
that was a big takedown. You don't know what's going to happen.
So Champ is a guy that's been around wrestling. We've talked about Sister Addie, but he's got a lot of experience also, 11 years wrestling, 29-5 record. Does want to wrestle collegiately.
And he is a scrapper. He likes to get into scrambles and see what happens. This is not the start that he wanted, but watching Champ wrestle, you know he's going to be in it to the end. So it's going to be a continuous battle. This match won't be over, I don't think, until it's over. It's going to be a fight all the way through.
You've seen him come out of some scrambles and some positions from being down points, and like you said, end up winning scrambles, putting guys on their back, getting near fall points, or even pinning opponents.
Right.
See, staying on his feet here.
And talking to Coach Hughes, he said he's really never met a kid that likes to wrestle more than Champ. Like, he is very much involved and every day ready to go. Looking for a possible Peterson right here.
Working hard at the edge.
Good one.
Nice job.
Escape with 5 seconds. That's big time right there. Making sure you get that final point. You don't want to end up it being 3-0.
So shows a lot of mat savvy and just guts there at the end of the first period to keep scrambling to get that escape point. So going into the second period, he takes the down position.
Right, so I know the coaches really wanted to see more action. He wants him to be the aggressive and being able to taking his shots and being able to go score. So he had a good first move. The guy tried to roll him through, ended up back in the base, and now we got work to do. The guy's trying to work on a bar arm. We need to be able to get up and get out of there.
You talk about Coach Hughes. He's the head coach. He's the guy that took over for you. He's one of your former wrestlers. He had well over 100 career victories, and really back when he was doing it, we didn't wrestle as many matches as you wrestled today. He was All-American, went out to Reno and did well. Ended up a state finalist. Lost to an incredible guy from Edmond North, Sir Charles.
Yeah, that guy was pretty tough. So this is Coach Hughes' 18th year to be coaching. He was, when he was coaching, he was actually coached at Claremore. He was at Claremore for a number of years when they were 2-time state champs. This is his 13th year at Jenks, and he's the 6th year as the Jenks head wrestling coach. One cool stat about Hughes is when he was a sophomore, Jenks won state in football, and he was on the football team. So he's team state champions in football.
Also state champion catcher in baseball.
As a junior, he was state champions in baseball. And then as a senior, he was a state runner-up in wrestling. He did go on to school and play baseball in college. And then ended up coming back and coaching. One cool fact about him is he coached or played for 5 different Hall of Fame coaches. Mike Clevenger,
Ray Weiss,
Danny Morgan, Brent Parker, no, what was his name? And Bobby Cox.
Bobby Cox, the baseball coach at Oklahoma Baptist University, where he ended up his career. Went to Seminole Junior College first to play catcher, and then ended up at OBU. So Champ is going to the third period down 7-1 because Claremore did pick up those 4 back points.
Make him move on bottom.
So Champ's got to make something happen here on top.
The other Hall of Fame coach was Brett Payne out of Claremore. He's a baseball coach, one big-time Hall of Fame coach out there. So we are 7-1 in the period. We got caught on our back, gave up 4 points there. And now we got some work to do. We're going to have to get those legs in. He's a really good leg rider. Does a good job with cross-face cradle. Really likes banana splits. And this guy's a state qualifier. He kind of knows what's going on, and he knows he's winning, and he knows it's a big match, so I don't think he's going to take a whole lot of risk. We'll see if the ref ends up hitting the guy on bottom for stalling, because he's not trying to get away. He's not really trying to do anything. He's just playing really safe to make sure he doesn't get in trouble.
Now he reaches for that head. Champ's head is just a little bit hanging too far over, and Murray reaches back and pulls the head down and gets the 2-point reversal and working for that chicken wing with the bar.
Yeah, he had that roll through tilt, and Champ was able to roll through and not give up the points. But again, we're in another major decision area where it's 9-1. We're down by 8 points. And we need to make sure we are at least getting that 1 point back. We want to actually do more. Champ's a really good wrestler, so we want him to be thriving and getting better each time out.
Champ not content. Not only does he get that 1 point escape, but he's going in on a shot.
Yep.
They go to the edge. 3 seconds left, so you got to give it up for Champ. His fight to get that one reversal to bring the major decision back into a regular decision, and even shoots him off the edge of the mat.
Yeah, he was looking at, he had a nice opportunity for a shot, and if you could lock it up right there and possibly get takedown and back points, it's worth 7 points now. So if you get a 3-point takedown and 4-point near fall, you're still within striking range.
So again, Champ Thompson, sophomore, fights to go from the major decision to just a regular decision. 3 team points for Claremore, so they're up 27-6 on the Trojans, and this will bring up Raul Perez at 150 pounds for Sir Isaac. Isaac Newton is up for the Trojans.
Again, this guy's Claremore kid's a talented wrestler. He's a state qualifier last year, but he's weighed in at 44, and we're wrestling at 50. So we're looking to take advantage of this matchup right here.
And this is a senior on senior night. Has a 24-8 record.
Dive in there as a shot, tried to hit the low carry, didn't quite get it worked, ended up with a underhook and went out of bounds. Good motion, good movement. Sir Isaac was a tournament champion in their last tournament they went to over in Pryor. Did a really good job trying to misdirection there, getting in there, caught in a front headlock, looking for a drag, and come out neutral again and then out of bounds.
What you like to see there is, even though he's caught in that front headlock, he's coming out and he's getting arm control as he's coming out, looking for that drag. Shot off the whistle.
High crotch into a single leg and a takedown. It's nice to be able to get a very definitive takedown in the first 30 seconds.
Isaac planning on continuing his wrestling career next year at Friends University.
Looking for that mat return tilt. The guy's able to get an escape. I like the aggressiveness. Isaac is really moving forward, really trying to go score.
That's what you want to see out of a team leader, out of one of your captains, out of one of your seniors on senior night.
We'd be able to keep that pace and be able to get back into that major decision land and be able to really help the team.
See Perez kind of reach for the single attempt, and Isaac just easily steps out of that. And Isaac's able to get behind, hook the leg, go ahead and get behind the elbows, secure the takedown for 3 points, not 2-point takedown anymore. Sport has evolved and changed. Now they award 3 points for the offense on your feet. And Isaac returns him definitively to the mat as we wrap up the first period.
That was a good period right there. 2 takedowns, did he get an escape? And that mat return was huge, so he didn't get the extra escape. So now 6-1 going into the second period. Jenks chose bottom, and now we need to be able to get hooked up and go score and continue putting points on the board. Guys got the leg in. We're trying to get over the top of them. We just kind of started rolling. We don't want to just be rolling. We want to have good solid position and good solid technique. Guys sitting on the leg. We can toe trap him, which looked like he did a toe trap. Coach Hughes, I know when he came work for me from Claremore, he was big into the toe trap from the bottom position. Able to get a reverse right there.
And he's going straight for that cradle.
And got the cradle.
Cranking it hard.
And he's got it hooked up. I like the cross-face cradle.
Something Coach Hughes was good at as well.
Something Coach Hughes was good at. And I had another wrestler that was pretty good at the cross-face cradle. Ended up with 80 pins at Jenks High School.
I think his name was Jacob Weiss.
I think his name was Jacob Weiss.
Would like to cash the big check, as he said, when you got the tournament bracket to take home as the champion of the tournament.
Yeah, and I believe Coach Hughes and his group, Chad Davis and Brian Gibson and those guys, they were all big into. Jacob was little at that time, and when Jacob won his first elementary tournament, they were talking about him cashing the big check, so that became a big thing all the way through.
I think that made the T-shirt that year.
That did.
We probably still have it in a drawer somewhere.
Cash the big check. This is a nice tilt right here.
Isaac is really going to work on him, being aggressive. So
and that's 16-1 technical fall.
Does it in less than 2 periods of work. He really started off the aggressor. Of course, Coach Hughes is saying, hey, did we have a chance to get the fall there?
Yep. And it looked like he still had the chicken wing in. It looks he still had the tilt. So normally you don't award the points until the move is broken. So he could have transitioned from the tilt into a traditional chicken wing and put him on his back and possibly gotten the fall.
And that's what Coach Hughes was asking about is, hey, should we have stopped it right there, or should we have let it wrestled out to see if we improved our position to get the fall? But regardless, Isaac Newton on senior night does a tremendous job coming out aggressive from the get-go. Picks up a technical fall on the 5-point team score for the Trojans, which will bring up Ike Burr for the Trojans now.
Ike is out here going to give everything he's got. He wrestled last year, and he was little undersized, and he was young, but he battles every chance he can get. Looks like he's a little undersized again, but comes out there and you know, he's going to fight. That was a good shot, got in on the leg. Wasn't able to go score with it. Let's see what if he can make some magic happen here.
It doesn't stay down there underneath. Continues to move and get the escape.
Nice try of it, a blast double. Wasn't able to get the points, but you can tell he knows what he's doing. He's battling hard for it. Take a shot right there, and wasn't able to win the scramble right there. The guy sprawled and was able to go behind.
So we've talked about Coach Hughes. We've talked about Coach Hill. Have we talked about assistant coach Justin Glenn yet?
Well, no. Justin is he's kind of he's the big time guy. So he's all about the lights, and he's about the darkness, and he's about the
glitz and the glam.
The glitz and the glam, yes.
He's the pretty boy.
Spectacle. He likes the
spectacle. Can't call Coach Hughes the pretty boy, so we'll call Coach Glenn the pretty boy.
Yeah,
he makes things look good.
And he does. He does a fantastic job. I was very lucky to coach with him. He came over and helped me out and did a fantastic job with heavyweight coaches and really all around. I was kind of an old and traditional coach, and Justin said, hey, we need to have the kids have a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
It's not all about the grind, and he was able to bring that energy. Obviously, he was a very talented wrestler. He was He was a state champion in high school. He was a runner-up in high school, 4-time high school state qualifier, 2-time high school All-American. He was even a state placer in the discus.
Came out of Enid.
Came out of Enid. Went to school in Kansas, where he was a 8-time letterman, 4 times in wrestling and 4 times in football. As a heavyweight wrestler, he was a fullback in college.
Yeah. He could scoot.
He
could
could
move.
scoot. Were you here when you coached against him? Did you coach against him?
I did not coach against him. I had already stopped coaching football when he and Austin Box and the Enid Plainsmen played the Trojans in the state championship game. Good friends with Austin Box, still communicates with Austin's family, a big supporter of the foundation, the Box Foundation, which helps spread the message about the dangers of opiates. But Coach Glenn has really added a lot. Like you said, I think one of the really cool things that I've seen him do is a nice job of not giving up the cradle there, coming back in on the shot. But one of the things that I really impressed by Coach Glenn, like you said, making it fun for the kids, making a big deal out of our state qualifiers. So now every time our state qualifiers get on the bus to go to the state tournament, there's kind of a run-through moment for them. You know, we've got
almost a
fans
pep rally,
there,
yeah.
almost a small little pep rally in the hall, and get a lot of people there. But also he introduces them, each one of them, one by one, and so just that's something that he developed. He's kind of good at the PR, the marketing side, just again to help the kids feel some recognition and some benefit to all the hard work that they've put in throughout the season. So appreciate his efforts in those regards.
Yeah, not only does he coach wrestling, like we had a incredible wrestler for us. Q Overton ended up wrestling, was a state champion for us, and I think Justin had a huge part in that. Justin, truly, if we go back and look, beat the tar out of Q Overton every day and got him to the level of where he was able to wrestle. And man, that last year, Q was not only, big and athletic, he was a talented wrestler. He really knew how to wrestle.
Yeah, really shot up, I'd say. I mean, Q was always a great athlete, and he was hard to score on for his strength and his size and all that. But like you say, I think the thing that really changed was his senior year. He became such a great offensive and confident offensive wrestler. A little timeout here as the Zebras get a little unintentional eye poke. Sometimes there's a contact involved. Sometimes it's just getting poked in the eye. Nothing intentional, nothing malicious. No penalty point, just a little break in the action here. But you gotta love the fight that Ike is showing. 15-2. He's trying to stay off his back. He's still initiating action. He's still trying to get his shots in.
And that's, sometimes in the sport of wrestling, your job is may not be to go win that night. It may be to, wrestle solid, not get pinned, stay off your back, do all those little things. Going back to Justin Glenn, I remember we had Q at the Bristow tournament, and he was wrestling the state champion from Coweta, and he hit a double leg and landed that guy flat on his back, just absolutely pancaked him in wrestling, which is kind of unheard of. And Q ended up being an outstanding wrestler of that tournament, which heavyweights don't normally get it because it's not exciting. But
well, and that Coweta wrestler had been a state champion at his at his classification, and those were always he ended up wrestling that guy many times over the couple of years, and those were always fun matches to watch.
They were. Q developed so well that OSU contacted me to ask where Q was going to school after the state tournament when they watched him wrestle at the state meet, and said, "Wow, that kid's good. Where's he going to go?" And I was like, "He's going to OU and playing some football." And he actually got to play as a freshman. And Mike Stoops said the reason he got to play some is because he was a wrestler and he was able to stay low and use his hands and move his feet.
He knew about hip position. He knew about hand placement.
He did.
Again, I going down with a fight there. He's still shooting in the third period, still trying to initiate the action. So you got to appreciate that about him.
Yeah, the effort was definitely there.
So with the mat time, the mat experience, other good things will follow for sure. So this is going to bring us to the 165-pound match. I believe this is Jackson Roach for Claremore, and he's going to wrestle Jackson Smith, who's moving up a weight class for the Trojans.
So earlier when I was looking at the Wall of Fame, I was looking at the first kid that I coached that was here was a guy named Matt Lay. What do you remember about Matt Lay, Mr. Fox?
Matt Lay had incredible hips. He was hard to score on. You couldn't find very many people that could outwork him. He was a guy that I'd say is a blue-collar guy. He wasn't the most gifted athletically when he first started his wrestling career, but he just had such an incredible work ethic and such a warrior mentality, and then he developed so many skills his senior year that you were able to coach him. He ended up placing at state. And one thing I think that's important to recognize is out of all those years that you were here, you know, some people talk about good years, lean years, rebuilding years. You got guys on the wall for the Hall of Fame. You got state placers each year. So, but Matt was the first guy to start that out, and just what a tremendous guy he is. He's Tulsa Fire Department now and such a big public servant and active in the community. And his dad is a state representative for the area of Jenks, Mike Lay, and they started the session yesterday. But the Lay family, just about as good as they get, and Mike and Matt was just a warrior. Tell you what, he had hips. You had a hard time taking him down for sure.
Yeah, he was a very solid kid, very tough. We worked on a lot of wrestling in 1 year. But again, just an outstanding individual. He ended up going to Oklahoma State and walked on the wrestling program there. And what I thought was really impressive about that is when he went to OSU, because of classes like he had with Mr. Fox, he was a sophomore when he stepped on campus at Oklahoma State because he had so many AP credits that he was already classified as a sophomore.
Well, I can't take any credit for his AP U.S. history knowledge. I guarantee you that. He's what I called in the business a walking five. 5 was the high score that you could get, and Matt walked in a 5. I just tried not to screw it up. But tremendous individual, tremendous person, tremendous work ethic. And, you know, those are the kind of guys that you like to celebrate in Trojan wrestling in this program.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the people I wasn't able to coach, a couple of them, I don't know, do you remember, did you coach Justin McAuliffe?
So I was on the staff when Justin was here as an assistant. I was an assistant coach. Again, I can't take any credit for his skill set. he was already way advanced. What a competitor.
Yeah, he was really good. I knew that name when I came here, and he was really talented. And then Daniel Carruthers was a good one, and you probably have some stories about.
Just a hard-nosed kid. Daniel was in junior high when I got here as a junior high coach, and we didn't talk about it earlier, but my first year in Jenks, Coach Wilkie that's back when there was a Central Middle School and an East Middle School, and Coach Wilkie was the head coach for Central Middle School, and I was the head coach for East Middle School. When I first got hired in the district, I was supposed to be his assistant, but Central lost their wrestling coach when the year got started, so he moved over, became the head coach at Central, and I was the head coach at East. And Daniel was one of the wrestlers that came from Central, and man, he was tenacious. Parents very active in the booster club. He was so quick on his feet, had great skill set as an offensive wrestler. Kind of reminded me of Austin Eads. You coached Austin Eads. You know, Austin kind of led with his head, and if you went in for a double or a blast double, you might get blasted in the forehead by Daniel or Austin, either one. Those guys were just battlers and scrappers. And we have a young man excited to talk about right here, another senior, Conan Lowe. Talk about a guy who has developed in this program and gotten so much better and had a tremendous senior year. Conan has just really come on.
Really, and it's nice to watch him wrestle. We knew he had some natural talent. He goes 100 miles an hour. He's scoring a lot of points. He's working really hard. It just takes a while to learn the sport, and he has done a really good job this year. I like his favorite quote. His favorite quote is, "A hungry dog is a mean dog." So he placed this year at Larry Wilkie Invitational at the Jenks tournament, which is a big highlight for him. But again, this is a guy who's been wrestling 3 years. This is his third year, trying to figure out all the stuff. And some of these kids have been doing it, since they were 5 or 6 years old. But strong, athletic kid, and wow, hard working. That was a nice peek out.
Nice peek out, almost went straight to the half, but able to get back behind the hips and score the takedown. Nice job.
Yeah, they've done a good job coaching him. That did not look like a third-year wrestler peek out right there. That was very well executed. Very well executed.
Gets a little high, gets the roll, the arm hooked by the Claremore Zebra, the roll to his back. Again, just that experience. But Conan wants to go to study at university in Australia. We don't have a lot of Trojan wrestlers doing that.
No, that was really unfortunate. I would like to see that match continue. Unfortunately, the kid hit a roll. We got caught in a headlock and wasn't able to get out of it. I think Conan had an opportunity in that match. But, again, it's one of those things. If you pin somebody, you're not going to lose. So, unfortunately, we got caught there and got put on our back.
But Conan just improved tremendously throughout his 3 years here. And again, you don't have very many wrestlers that are wrestling varsity with only 3 years of experience. So Conan just continuing to get better, and you see Coach Hughes over there in the corner talking to him about that role right there, coaching him up in the situation and just helping him make sure he takes that experience to the next match.
Yeah. So here we are battling at
190 pounds.
190 pounds.
Another senior, Christian Shunk. Only wrestled for 2 years as well. Still has a 19-7 record. Goes hard. He's learned a lot.
Well, that's really incredible for a second year to have 19 wins. Looking for your 20th win right here, senior night. Saw he went head hunting a little bit, was looking for a snake, and see if he can't get something done important on senior night.
Wrestling.
Really.
I'm sorry, I was just gonna say he's wrestling Jimmy Van Hovel from Claremore.
Oh, that was a nice double leg. That was a really nice double leg. Able to take him down 3 points with about the first minute out of the way. Now let's see what he can do, get to work on top.
You see, covers the hips quickly. You want to keep pressure on your opponent, keep your chest on your opponent, keep your weight on your opponent, so that again they have a hard time basing up from that position. And if they are basing up, they're carrying their weight. He's bringing that arm behind the back there.
Yeah, he was trying to bar arm series, put it on the back, then he went to a chicken wing, and the guy kind of flattened out and didn't give him anything. It's nice being back in the gym. I have been following some of my former athletes that are now have their kids wrestling. And so I follow them on Facebook and watch some of them wrestling. I got Dexter Grayson, one of our former wrestlers. He was a state champion. Oh, nice half mess. Oh, right at the whistle.
Just ran out of time. Got a 1 count, didn't get a 2 count, but we do have a blood timeout here. I think it may be like a busted lip mouth issue.
I want to be able to see us on top again, because I think that's a great position for us where we can get some work done.
Did a nice job stuffing the head, getting him over, just ran out of clock.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of guys that we know have their kids involved in wrestling. Got Sewells, Chad Davis.
Nick Wilson.
Yeah.
Dexter Grayson. I see another guy that we have coaching, Justin DeAngelis. He's a 3-time state champion here at Jenks, probably the most successful wrestler we had. Ended up wrestling at OU, had a really nice career. He's the head coach at Norman North High School. Got a young family, and it's good when you get to go to tournaments and see a lot of people that we know.
Yeah. such a community. And even guys that you did battle with, you know, that are coaching at other places, or you've watched their kids grow up, and they've watched your kids grow up and cheered for your kids, and ask about them, think about, oh, nice job there. Switching off to the double, looking to get him on his back. Looking for the half on the right side.
Oh, but we got a minute and a half. I think he's going to be able to get opportunity again. 3-point near fall, so scores 9-0.
You know, we talked about contributions to the Jenks wrestling tournament, the Larry Wilkie tournament. We want to talk about a guy named Paul Amin. Paul Amin, the head official for the eastern part of Oklahoma, the Officials Association, and he just officiated his 30th Jenks tournament, or Larry Wilkie Invitational. Been around the sport a long time, seen a lot of kids, but always asks, when he sees you, he's always asking how are your kids doing,
Yep.
what are they up to. Just one of the great individuals in the sport.
Went to another power half, got him in a front north-south.
And goes for the fall.
And gets the pin. I knew he was going to have success to get back on top, and he made it easy. He was able to get the takedown, back points, and then turn him over and get the fall.
So nice job right there by Christian Shunk, 190 pounds, senior night. Gets his 20th win with a fall in the second period against Claremore. Team score is a little bit out of kilter here. Trojans have 17 points. Claremore has 44 points. But good to see some of these seniors battling hard. Big wins by Isaac Newton and Christian Shunk for sure. Brings up another senior here, Bryson Collier.
Yeah, it's that's a memory right there, being out in front of the crowd. I mean, you're in your second year wrestling. You got the spotlight going. You got a big-time event, and go out there and perform, work hard, battle, and get it done.
Bryson Collier, a football player. Coach Glenn used to be a football coach here. Did a good job of getting those big guys from football to come out to wrestling. And so Bryson's going to continue next year his athletic career by playing football somewhere. But out here battling, competing, getting better athletically and in this sport here for senior night for the Trojans.
Yeah, and that's really hard to do, to go and, you know, being a football player maybe since, you know, 3rd or 4th grade and knowing all there is about football, and then you're going to say, hey, I'm going to go try this other sport.
It's a second-year wrestler, but battling hard. It's 3-1. So we have about 55 seconds left in the first period. What Bryson lacks in his mat time, he definitely devotes with athletic skill and just a lot of fight in him.
Yeah, toughness and effort go a long way.
Claremore was going for the half there on the way down. Bryson was able to get back to his belly. Now trying to get his head up right here. But the Trojans have had some good showings in some of the tournaments. At the Larry Wilkie Invitational, took home a trophy, a team trophy. It's one of the top placing teams in the tournament. Had good success at the prior tournament that you mentioned, wrestled in the Yukon tournament that got kind of condensed because of the onslaught of the snowpocalypse that we experienced across the state.
Yeah, they had a really good start to the year, and you know, it's tough. We battled a couple of injuries, and you know, it's you kind of before the season starts, you put up your lineup of what could possibly happen, and it doesn't always come through. But you show up and you battle, and it's sometimes what you're looking at is the performance and the development. And watching these kids wrestle throughout the year, watching them from last year, it has changed quite a bit. And so it's nice to watch the development. You can tell the coaches are putting a lot of time and effort in the room, and the kids are responding.
Bryson here goes for the optional freestyle start. He's trying to go to the head and get a snake. Unfortunately got caught on his hips. Now he's fighting off his back. But he was looking for the front snake there.
The old optional start snake, just giving yourself an opportunity. And that's what you got to do. We had a guy who wanted to be good in the worst way, named Amir Tabrizi Shakurian, and we went out and he won us a big duel one time because he went optional start snake. And again, I can talk about a lot of kids and where they are and what they're doing, and you know, guys that I've coached that are doctors and doing stuff. Amir is a lawyer now. He's in Denver, Colorado, at a big-time law firm, doing really good.
Did a clerkship for a U.S. federal circuit court judge, and just another guy that learned self-discipline and so many important life lessons through the sport of wrestling. And this brings us to the heavyweight match tonight. Zay Goodman, another senior, who has worked hard to get better and better every year.
Yeah, guy that's been in the program and working at it. Guy hit a little snatch single leg. I think Zay was going in trying to get a good tie up that he wanted, and the guy lowered his levels, picked up his leg, and was able to get the takedown. So it's going to be big time for Zay to work hard right here and get in a dominant position.
Got to get that head up there.
That was a full
Nelson.
So again, that's an illegal move. Again, the ref's there to keep everybody safe, and you can use a half Nelson and you can be really physical with it. But if you put both hands on the head, it creates undue pressure and it is an illegal move. So by application, just because you do it means it's illegal and it's a 1 point for the other person.
And immediately stopped. Action immediately stops, yeah. Again, safety's so important. Zay trying to get that head up, trying to come off his get up.
He's tripod, quad pod all the way up. Let's see if he can continue to move. Hey, he's almost up. Oh.
Just trying to get his hips up, like you said, tripod up in a kind of a bear crawl position, push back into his man, try to create some space to get out. And there he does it.
There we go.
Gets that hand control, and then he goes right back to work. You notice he gets right back in on the offensive.
Needs some hard snap downs, kind of get the guy tired, get him worn out.
So the guy was riding Zay, but he was off to the side, wasn't putting a lot of weight on Zay, and you could tell that the ride kind of took a lot of effort from him.
Keep pulling his head down. Yep. Stop that snatch single leg and keep putting that pressure on him. 3-2 is the score.
So Zay does a nice job. He gets the penalty point and he gets the escape to make it a really good position here. 3-2 in the second period. Claremore gets their choice. They choose the neutral position.
I think Zay's got a good chance. I think he looks like he's in good condition, and he's going to be working on this kid, and I think he's got a good opportunity to wear him down and get the victory on here.
So the Claremore guys kind of backing away from Zay, so Zay wants to be careful, kind of circle into him, not walk straight into anything. But you would think that if Claremore continues to back out, might see a warning for stalling. Zay's initiating the action. You can see there from the tie and this try to snap him down. He's really exerting a lot of force. Claremore trying to back out of that.
Pushing that effort forward, and this is a big time win. I mean, you're a senior night heavyweight. You want to finish out in style. A lot riding on it. He's working really hard right here. It's a really close competitive match, and ooh, good snap down.
So even though he's not snapping him down to the mat, scoring the point, he's definitely wearing his opponent down. You can kind of see the physicality and taking a toll, looking for a tie. Nice, get him on the mat. Trying to bring him back on the mat. Really don't understand how Claremore's not getting a stalling.
Yep.
Get behind him, there you go, Zay.
Nice
ankle,
takedown. Break him down, yep. And I think that was that pressure that was involved with it. He just kept moving him. But he'll keep going after him, and
so 5-4 coming down to the end of the second period. It's going to be Zay's choice in the third period. Zay trying to finish out his senior night here. He's kind of at a 500 win-loss record right now, so hoping that he wins this one. Asking Coach if he needs to go down, Coach Glenn, or if he needs to go neutral. Coach Glenn says, don't take a chance. You're doing some good stuff. It's neutral. Stick with it.
Yeah, I think if Zay just keeps a big elbow in his chest, keeps pulling his head down, Claremore's going to have to be forced to take another shot, and I think that's where Zay has a good chance to sprawl and just do a simple go-behind without actually having to do any moves.
Zay's winning 5-4 right now with 1:30 seconds left in his senior night performance, staying in the middle of the mat, not chasing him.
Yep, he has to remember, this is big boy wrestling. You're winning. You're winning. Make the guy come to you. Make sure you're wrestling solid. Put the pressure on him.
Control the tie.
Snap him down. Snap him down.
Wants to get that head down underneath.
Just know that the guy's going to shoot eventually, and when he does, you just be ready to sprawl. There you go.
Keep your hands out in front of you.
Yep. He's doing a good job. Keep moving your feet. Stay square with him.
Don't need to reach.
Right there, right out there in the middle.
Got a minute left here.
Here he comes. There you go.
Snap him down. There you go.
There you go.
Now
Good
watch the
pinch
roll.
head-like throw by.
You got to watch the roll here. You can't get rolled to your back. You don't want to reach, get your elbow in there too deep.
Flatten him out. Yep. Flatten him out.
But he's
Get your
winning
weight
8-4.
Yeah, keep your weight on him. Keep busting him forward. Bump him forward.
Coach Weiss giving a little coaching from the Trojan TV booth here, mat side. Frank Herald Field House on senior night. Senior Zay Goodson looking to finish up the match tonight. Suck him back.
Good job right there. 10 seconds left. Got him flattened out. 2-on-1 bar. 5 seconds left. This is a big win right here.
Coach Glenn over on the side, really cheering him on there. Zay Goodson on senior night, coming up with a big win. Ending up just over 500%. So the Trojans, the team score, a little bit lopsided here, 50-20, but had some big performances from some of the seniors tonight. Coach, what do you take away from this senior night?
Well, this is one of the last duels we have of the year, so we are starting to look for the postseason, going into regional, seeing what's going to happen. A lot of wrestling still left in the year, but we want to go out on a good note, being able to be successful. This is just a duel. While it is senior night, you want to win. You're trying to figure out what's going to happen for the next couple of weeks, because when it comes down to regionals, you want to be excited, you want to be motivated, you want to be wrestling hard with an opportunity to punch that ticket, get to the state tournament.
And you always want to be getting better and learning something every time you get on the match. Win or lose, you want to be getting better and learning something. And now something that a lot of people don't see in a lot of sports, after the wrestling match is over, the wrestlers got to roll up the mats and put up the gym. So we thank you guys for joining us tonight on Trojan TV. Appreciate Trojan TV broadcasting tonight from the Frank Herald Gym as the Trojans take on Claremore on senior night. Thank you, Trojan TV. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, my friend Eric Fox. Appreciate it.
Good night, everybody.